Hi guys, today I want to show you how to do a two-piece shirt collar. So you have the separate stand collar under and a closed shirt collar over. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so to start we'll do just the same thing we did for the other collar. We're going to take the neck measurement of the front and the back, and we're going to place these two measurements on a straight line. So to do the stand collar, we're going to use the technique of the open shirt collar. That means we're going to move the center front point up 1 centimeter. Now we're going to trace the width of the collar parallel to the neckline, so the new neckline. Standard stand collar are about 2.5 centimeter. So what we need now is to add an extension that should be the size of the overlap that you're putting on your garment. So this is exactly my center front, and since it's a shirt I'm going to put an overlap of 1.5. And in the same time I'm going to close the pattern at the center back. Voila. So now this stand collar is going to be cut on the fold at center back, and you could leave the front square or you could soften your line and do a little curved line. The notches are going to be at the shoulder. At the neckline you're going to have a notch at 0.5 or a double notch, a single notch on the top part, and one notch at the center front only on the top, because that's where we're going to start the other collar. So we just did the bottom part of the collar. Now we're going to do the top part of the collar. This one we will use the opposite technique, so we'll use the closed shirt collar. This one went up, this one is going to go down to make sure that it's rolling all the way to the center. So again, we're going to start by tracing a line. Then you're going to measure on your stand collar from the notch, that is the center front, all the way to the center back. So I have a total of 19.1. So it's not exactly the same measurement because of the angle that we put in the front. So 19.1, and you're going to square at center back and decide the width you want your collar to be. Now again, you remember that it's two-piece, so if a normal collar is 7.5 to 8.5, you already have a 2.5 stand collar, so I think the top part 5 centimeters should be enough. So like I said before, for the stand collar we went up. For this one I'm gonna go down 1 centimeter and trace until pretty much halfway of your line. The last thing we have to trace is give the shape of the point. So I'm going to extend a little bit this one and trace. So now, just like we did for the two other shirt collar, we're going to trace two lines to be able to open 3 to 4 millimeter on each one. So I cut an extra piece pretty much the size of the back neckline. Now I'm going to start gluing my first piece. Measure 3 to 4 millimeter and keep them together at the bottom part. 3 to 4 millimeter opening. Same thing one more time. So the next step is going to be to put the 1 centimeter seam allowance everywhere except on the center back. And then we'll put an extra 3 millimeter from center back to center front. So we have now two pieces exactly the same. We're going to remove the 3 millimeter extra on one piece, and that's going to become the under collar. So this one, under collar, and this one will be the top collar. They're both going to be cut on fold, and the only difference we're going to have is a double notch on the under collar, half notch on top, half notch, and half a notch. So now I cut my collar pieces. You need twice exactly the same of the stand collar, one top collar, one under collar, and we're going to start the sewing with the top collar and the under collar over. We're going to stitch and under stitch on the under collar. So now we're going to fold the seam allowance towards the side you send it, so the under collar, and we're going to sew both sides to close the collar. We will cut the corner and turn it around. The next step, I'm going to do a little stay stitch at 5 millimeter to hold both layers together, and we're going to put it on the top part, so the round part of one of the stand collar. So now that the collar is sewn from center front to center front, we're going to flip it on the other side, put the second stand collar over, and we're going to sew from the bottom all the way to the other side bottom. So if you notice, the two last seam were done at 0.5, but this one was the real assemble seam, so it was at 1 centimeter or your seam allowance value. So now what we have left to do is notch, V-notch the curved part of the front, overlap both sides. And you're going to turn your collar outside. You could give it a little press and stay stitch the bottom of the stand collar together. So when you're done with your stay stitch and your pressing, you're ready to go sew it to the neck of your favorite shirt. Here what it looks like. Et voila. So I hope you did enjoy, and I hope it's going to be helpful. Don't forget to register. I see you next time.